Hello everybody, how's it going? We are here with a timeless reading. Before we get started with the reading, let's set the intention for this to be a space where everyone allows themselves to feel seen and validated, and ultimately for this to be a safe space and a healing space in alignment with the highest good. I'm seeing you getting to something important here, but you could feel like your mind is messing with you a little bit. We're starting off with the Page of Swords. I was seeing the Ten of Pentacles and the Seven of Swords, and that can mean like getting to a goal or even accomplishing something that feels important to you, or something worthwhile, and being in a spot where you're like, was it, is it, or maybe thinking about like returning or going backwards when you're already like where you're supposed to be. Is how I'm interpreting that. Okay, so Page of Swords is being in a spot where you're like, I want the truth, I want to get it. You could be researching something, gathering information, figuring out how to do something, collecting things mentally. Can be, yeah, research, like important conversations that you're having or wanting to get information. It looks like this is associated with an opportunity or a door that you're opening. Okay, we have Justice next. This means making sure that you're approaching things from a balanced standpoint that you feel is in alignment. It's a reminder too to be making sure that the information that you're taking in and calling truth, like make sure that it really aligns with you. Because you can get information from anywhere. You want to make or have a conversation with anybody, you know. You just want to make sure that rather than taking something for true just because it's being stated, to really check in with self and balance that out. This is also being mindful of the way that you are speaking as well. Conversations that you're maintaining, making sure that you're doing things in a way that you feel good about, meaning like, so justice is associated with your values, especially your social values. So it's like, how am I speaking with other people? What types of conversations am I upholding and maintaining? If everybody in the world could see this conversation that I'm having right now, or how I'm speaking to this person, would I be proud of that? You know, stuff like this. So it's being mindful of the intention behind why you're saying what you're saying, and also reading other people's intentions as well. Because this is about, we have the Two of Cups following, and Justice, Libra, all of us have Libra somewhere in our charts. It rules an entire house within our birth charts. The deal with Libra is that it's about creating harmony and balance in a foundational manner. So this Two of Cups, this is about something converging. It can even be like two different elements that you're bringing together here, that you're maybe bringing into some sort of suspended balance. And it has to do also with the words that you're speaking out. Which is just your air energy in general. So this is also like what you're thinking too. What you're thinking, how you're speaking, being mindful of all of the mental activity, noticing it, being aware of what's going on. All right. Doing things with a mentality of unity is how you're going to make this work, because I'm seeing something come up that may be a little bit difficult to maneuver just because of like the different ways and angles. It's kind of like, rather than being able to go straight through a process, it's like you have to turn here, then you have to turn there, then it's kind of like a crisscrossy thing that's going to eventually get you all the way out, but it may not be like a completely straightforward process. But if you keep in your head the intention of creating balance and harmony and union, and that being the mentality, that's what's going to get this done here. Because I'm seeing with the forces that you're working with, it does not feel like this is the easiest process. Because I'm seeing a lot of really dense energy that you kind of, it's like a struggle to work with this and to forge it sort of in the way that you need for it to go. I'm just seeing a very sort of drawn out process here for this. Like, I'm seeing very heavy lifting energetically that you're doing right now, but I'm seeing you be well on your way here. Like, your progress is beginning to really pile up, but I know that you know you're not done here. But I'm seeing you be, let's say it like this, I'm seeing you be 70% accomplished with this so far, okay? So you're very well on your way. You're almost like 3/4 of the way through with this process. And it should be, like, it's going to at least, let's leave that there. You can be feeling tired now at this point, kind of like how much longer is this sort of going to drone on and on and on. I feel kind of like at this point, it's basically like you know what you're doing and what you need to do, but the process isn't finished yet, so it may feel a little bit redundant now at this point for you. Just know it's not always going to feel like that. You're basically, you are so close to, like 30% is such a little bit, like in relation to everything, all the ground that you've covered already is what I'm hearing. That's how it's being sort of categorized. I feel like things they could feel like a bit messy right now, but in the next, it's weird that they have us like talking in this way, but in like the next 10%, things are going to get more organized and you're going to be seeing things take shape. And then it seems like it's going to be a bit more straightforward after that. So I'm seeing that the more difficult part is going to continue for like another 10%, again, we can say, until we hit 80%. And then I'm seeing it's going to be like more straightforward how to finish this process, okay? This feels very much like a collective energetic update. So yeah, what I'm getting is that, so coming back to this thing of like where you're getting your information from and just like what's rolling around in your head and what you're absorbing, make sure that it's like with this concept and with this intention of balance, harmony, unity, and bringing things together rather than separateness, because there can be information going around that can keep you in a spot where you could be feeling a bit, how can we describe this? I feel like a losing of energy. Okay, so like if there's like negative information basically that you're ingesting, if it's not being transmuted the right way, negative is going to like pull from and take away from, so it may be pulling on you energetically. So this means maybe intertwining something that feels uplifting within this process for you. Because I am seeing something start to feel kind of like heavy and draining. Like, how much longer is this going to go on for? It feels like that. Like, I've done all this work. Like, where is the progress? You know, it feels like that. But I'm getting, again, it's because something is kind of disorganized. So I'm seeing it, when I say that, I mean, it's like you're creating a picture on a canvas, right? And we can say it's 70% done. And right now it kind of just looks like blobs and colors and shapes all over the place because there's layering that's happening. And as more gets on the canvas, like within the next 10% closer to completion, okay, it's going to start taking shape and you'll be like, oh, that's what we've been drawing. Like, that's what we've been painting. That's what I've been creating. I'm seeing it's going to be more straightforward and you're going to be like, oh, I understand that all of these pieces added up to this now. and that they've just been layering on top of one another, but it like hadn't taken shape, it hadn't taken form in a way that you perceptively recognized like what was actually happening. And that's why I'm seeing you at this point feel a little bit like, I don't know, like maybe discouraged, but it's on like an energetic or an emotional level is how I'm seeing this. So it's like, why did I do all of this? Like, is it really going to turn into something? You know, like you can be feeling like you're losing hope a little bit. But I'm seeing that things are really going to be clearing up for you very shortly. Very, very shortly. Yeah, I'm getting something about like fighting the winning fight, something like, or the good fight, something like that. But you may be feeling tired and just sort of put out a little bit. I just get like a sort of exhausted feeling, but it doesn't feel like a physically exhausted feeling. It feels like something within. I am seeing like more energies joining forces here. I'm seeing something that's going to be balanced out, but I just get like you sort of needing a moment on the sidelines before you hop back in the game. You may feel like you've done a lot and you need to rest for a little bit. I'm seeing something again be like really, really heavy lifting. It's these two big pieces that are coming together that have to fit like exactly at the right angle. And I'm seeing like one of the pieces is in place already, and it's about like maneuvering that other piece into place. But I'm seeing things like nearly be lined up here in order to allow for the completion. But you also maybe, you could feel too like you're looking around and being like, I'm looking for something that's inspiring hope. And you may feel like right now you're not finding it at times. Maybe you just feel affected by things. Yeah, I'm seeing something be very, very challenging, very, very difficult. And it's about like getting all of the energies like working together. And this is coming back to that whole, like, rather than it feeling like a completely straightforward process, it's like, you have to go left, now you have to go right, now you need to, like, pivot 45 degrees, you know? It's something that it can feel all over the place, but it's actually you, like, making your way through this, like, maze. And a maze isn't going to be, like, you start here and you just go 12 feet straight, you know, to get out of this. It's something that it takes you, like, all around these different corners and edges. And sometimes to go forward, you may feel like you're sort of going backwards a bit, but it's going to connect you with that thing that's going to bring you out in front. So again, something is just heavy lifting and maneuvering here. I'm seeing it kind of take a lot of different aspects of your skill set to move through this currently. And some of this you also feel like you're in ways sort of doing on your own. Planning may be helpful for you if that's a possibility. Once something is accomplished, I'm seeing it's going to be easier to actually create a plan. I'm also hearing an itinerary. This feels like a very challenging segment of a process that it feels like the last, like, big, difficult part of this. Because you know how when you go into something that you're doing, it's kind of like, okay, this is an easier part, this is a more challenging part, this is an easier one. I feel like you're at the last, like, uphill part of this before things, like, stabilize a bit for you, is how I'm seeing this play out energetically. Something is going to be shaking loose, I'm seeing. It's like the challenges and difficulties that you were having before with doing something like solidly or pragmatically. I'm seeing like a whole undertaking that's going to be happening. But you land in a spot that you feel good about at the end of this, because this is going to bring about more connectivity than you'd been experiencing before. Like, I'm even seeing something be activated here within this. What I'm seeing overall is it's just about like keeping your intention fresh and in mind throughout this process, to remember like the bigger picture of all of this is to like restore balance, to reestablish balance, and for it to be about like harmony and togetherness. And that the more that you can do that, I'm hearing in being a uniting factor. Like, I'm actually being shown, you know, when you have, I forget the name of it. Is it PVC pipe? I really don't know if that's right, but I think that you guys get what I'm talking about. It's like that piping that comes together, and you know, like an elbow piece that you can put like one side in, and then it's like a joiner. It's something like that. Like, I'm seeing you be that. Like, you're like a bridge is how I'm seeing you. So that's why you have to keep in mind that that's what you're trying to do here, like being the bridge and like joining pieces together. But yeah, as you're going through this, I'm just seeing it feel sometimes like increasingly difficult. But you're just being guided to continue moving through this and continue going, because things are going to be taking shape for you. But yeah, maybe also you're not like hearing the type of news you want to hear yet. You could be like waiting on something and being like, that's not the piece of news that I wanted. And you could be in a spot where you're sort of, you feel like you're fading out a little bit, because you know that, I don't know if like you know what you're looking for, or if you just feel like you know that when you hear it, you're going to know what it needs to be. But I feel like you're waiting on something, or like looking everywhere for this information, or for this news, or for this update, something like that. And you're like, is it ever going to come? Like, I'm seeing days and nights and days and nights that you've been waiting and like continuing to go through this process. And it's like you're waiting for this information or for this message. But I'm seeing stuff is still going on in the background. It seems it's like, as I said before, one of these two conjoining pieces is in place already. It's just the other half that is being moved around and getting aligned, where those two pieces are going to join together, and that's going to be the completion of this. But I'm seeing sort of like being that middle piece, like being that elbow piece, being that joining piece. It may be feeling really challenging right now, keeping things together and united. And you may also feel like it's kind of like you and another energy, we can say, metaphorically speaking, and you may feel like you're the one doing all the work. It can feel like that. But I am seeing, it looks like right as you're at that point where you're like, I don't know if I can like hold this up any longer. I don't know if I can be holding these pieces together anymore. Then I'm seeing there be this like sense of accomplishment here. And I'm seeing you be able to plan accordingly. At least to understand where you're going next. And then I'm seeing something bigger that's going to be happening, something bigger that's going to be taking place. I'm seeing some sort of very dense energy here. Let me just look at this for a second. Something very monumental is going to be changing. I'm seeing there be a really big undertaking here towards the end of this. It's like very, very late towards the end of this. Something that may have been, It's like a whole mountain being moved is how I'm seeing this energetically. And it's something that it was this like big lump or like a big mass of energy, and I'm seeing it be completely obliterated. But it was something that is like you could work on this forever and ever and ever, and it felt like it wasn't moving. And then I'm seeing it finally get, I'm hearing excised. It reminds me of like a laser breaking something up. And then I'm seeing things get easier after that. I'm seeing there be like a sprouting and like a newness. Like there's this sense of like greenery, and I'm also seeing this blue color as well, which is like heart and throat. It's about like what's being manifested and what's growing, and there actually being room for something to blossom and grow there. It's interesting too because it kind of feels like this rock had been placed down, and there had been like things that you were working on that were sort of like growing beneath it, and they couldn't really see the light of day because the rock needed to be like obliterated, and you couldn't really like roll it off, so you were trying to sort of chip at it. And then I'm seeing something is going to like completely take the rock away, but in a like something is going to happen to it where this like massive energy, I'm hearing excised again, like something happens to it, and I do feel again like it's this massive energy. I'm getting something about like a laser, and that's what like breaks it up. And then what you've been working on is sort of going to see the light of day, essentially, is what I'm seeing here. And it's like kind of connecting with the whole point of this, maybe in a more visceral way that you can perceive. Something is even getting purified is what I'm seeing. And there's this sense of like renewal here. I'm also getting something about the fountain of youth too. That can be like a metaphorical stand-in as well. But yeah, I'm seeing there be a purification here that's happening. And it feels like finally something that had given way, that had been sort of challenging behind the scenes this whole time, like making this whole trip kind of more difficult. Okay? There's going to be a very big restoration of balance. To have Justice, the Death card, and also the Chariot. Yeah, I get this again. You could be feeling right now like you're in a spot where you don't really know how to... It's like something got you feeling stuck, but I'm getting that it's not going to stay like that. It just seems like you're at a more dull part of this where you could be waiting for like that hopeful thing to come through. And I'm seeing that it is going to be. But you sort of like helping yourself out of this funk is definitely going to be helpful for you because you don't need to experience it in this way. Yeah. Exactly. You experiencing things like this. Look at this person. They feel like they can't move. This is the Eight of Swords. Six of Swords. That's you moving on from this. Not being in that space anymore. This is like really mentally feeling stopped up as well. And this is you letting things go. Letting things go mentally. Meaning moving beyond that. Rather than staying stuck in this spot, stuck in the Eight of Swords, which is a self-imposed space, whether we're aware of it or not. And then Six of Swords is freeing yourself from that. It's liberating yourself from that mentally. You may be opening up more to maybe opening your heart a bit more, being more open to collaborations. Many different shapes, sizes, and forms that a collaboration can take as well. Maybe even in some unexpected ways. Alright, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everybody for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I'm wishing everybody love and light and healing, and I hope to catch you guys next time.